Gentlemen, let me tell you something most men will never hear. If you copy just one single message, word for word, you can get her number tonight. Women who ignore hundreds of men will suddenly respond to you. I'll give you that exact message at the end. But before I do, you must understand why it works. And trust me, I know because I am a woman. I have seen how we react, and I have seen how men fail again and again. I decided to run a little test, an experiment, if you will. I created a profile on a dating site, presenting myself as a woman who is casually looking to meet someone. Nothing extreme, nothing glamorous, just an ordinary profile that any real woman might have. And what happened next? Within the first 24 hours, my inbox exploded. More than 200 messages came rushing in. You would think with such a flood of attention, at least a few would be thoughtful, original, or worth replying to. But here is the shocking truth. Not a single one stood out. Not one message made me stop and think, this man seems different. Maybe I should give him a chance. Zero. Now pause for a moment and think about that. 200 men took the time to type something, to press send, hoping to start a connection. Yet all of it fell flat. Why? Because almost every single one of those messages made the same tired mistakes. They were generic. They were lazy. They were the kind of words a woman has seen 1,000 times before. And when a message feels recycled, when it feels like it could have been sent to any random woman, it instantly loses all power. So what happened? Instead of sparking curiosity, these men buried themselves in the noise. Instead of standing out, they blended in and disappeared. And that is exactly why I am showing you this experiment, because once you see the patterns of failure, you will also see how easy it is to rise above them. If you learn what not to do, you will already be more attractive than 90% of men. But to make this real, let me break down the exact categories of mistakes those men made. Once you see them, you will never look at your own first messages the same way again. Mistake number 1, dead questions. Messages like, hey, how are you? What's up? How's your day? This is the worst. Every woman sees this 100 times a week. It's boring. It has no personality, no spark. Even a random string of numbers would be more interesting because at least it's different. And here's what you need to understand. These questions do not actually start a conversation. They put the responsibility on her to do all the work. Imagine a stranger walking up to you in the street, shrugging and saying, "So, what's new?" Would you feel excited to talk to him? Of course not. It feels lazy, empty, and forgettable. Women know immediately when a man is just copy-pasting the same dull line to dozens of profiles. It shows zero thought, zero creativity, zero effort. And in her mind, if this is how little energy you put into the very first impression, how much effort will you ever put into her in real life? That is why this opener dies instantly. It is not just boring, it is insulting. It tells her she is not worth the energy of one original thought. Think about it. You have seconds to stand out. She is scrolling through a feed where 10 other men have already said the exact same thing. If you open with, "Hi, how are you?" you disappear into the noise. But if you open with something unexpected, intriguing, or even playful, you cut through all that noise and she notices you. So burn this into your mind. Never again start with, "Hey, how are you?" That is not a message. That is background static. And women do not respond to static. Mistake number 2, pushy invites expanded. Let's meet. Dinner tonight? Want to hang out? At first glance, it might sound direct, even confident. But to a woman, it feels the opposite. She doesn't know you yet. She doesn't trust you. And when you throw out an invite before you've built any connection, it feels exactly like a stranger in a train station opening his jacket to reveal cheap watches. He whispers, "Want to buy one?" Even if it's real gold, her instinct is to walk away. Zero trust, zero chance. You have to understand, for women, safety is everything. An invite from a man she barely knows is not exciting, it is threatening. It makes her ask, why me? Why so fast? Why should I risk my time, my comfort, my safety for someone who hasn't shown me even a reason to care? And here's the irony. To men, asking quickly feels efficient. To women, it feels lazy. It tells her you don't want to make the effort to stand out, you just want a shortcut to her time and her body. She has seen this same approach hundreds of times, and she ignores it every single time. Let me put it this way. If a man at a cafe walked up to you, didn't even say hello, didn't even ask your name, and immediately said, "Come with me," would you follow him? Of course not. Attraction doesn't work like that. Trust doesn't work like that. Women need context. They need a reason to say yes. And no, that doesn't mean weeks of endless chatting or begging for attention. It means showing her you are not like the dozens of other men who only know how to rush. It means creating intrigue, sparking curiosity, making her feel like meeting you is her idea, not just your demand. When you push an invite too soon, you remove the very thing that makes seduction work: anticipation. And anticipation is the spark that turns polite interest into real desire. Without it, your message is just noise. Another stranger shouting in a crowded room. Mistake number 3, empty compliments. Hi, beautiful. You're gorgeous. Hey, baby. Now, let me be clear. It is not that women dislike compliments. Every woman enjoys feeling attractive. But here's the problem. These phrases are so overused, so generic, that they have lost all their power. They feel copy-pasted, like the man is just throwing the same words at every profile he sees. When a woman receives the 10th "Hi, beautiful" before lunch, do you really think it makes her pause? No. She skims past it. Why? Because there is no effort, no thought, no uniqueness behind it. It does not make her feel seen as a person. It only makes her feel like a slot machine, where the man is just pulling the lever hoping for a jackpot. And here is the deeper truth. A woman knows instinctively that if you are starting with "Hey, gorgeous," you probably have nothing else to offer. You are relying on the lowest form of flattery instead of showing real personality. That is why these messages go unanswered. They do not create curiosity. They do not spark emotion. They do not open the door to connection. Think about it. If every man in the room is shouting, "You're beautiful," and one man walks up and says something that actually makes her think, who do you believe she will remember? Certainly not the ones who repeated the same tired line. This is why I say, empty compliments are worse than silence. At least silence creates mystery. Empty flattery, on the other hand, just proves you are ordinary, and ordinary never gets the reply. So here is the truth. If you simply avoid those 3 mistakes, the dead questions, the pushy invitations, and the empty compliments, you are already ahead of nearly 80% of men out there. You instantly stop looking like every other copy and paste stranger in her inbox. But let me be honest with you. Being a little better than the rest is not enough. Because women are not comparing you only to the bad messages. They are comparing you to the rare man who makes them stop, pause, and feel something different. Think of it this way. If every man is sending the same lifeless, "Hi, how are you?" then yes, avoiding it makes you stand out a little. But will she remember you tomorrow? Will she feel urgency to reply? Probably not. You need something stronger, something that does not just sound polite, but that carries weight. A message that instantly separates you from the crowd and makes her think, wait, who is this man? That is the difference between being noticed for 1 second and actually being remembered. And until you learn how to create that spark, that sense of rarity, urgency, and depth, you will always risk being ignored, no matter how well-intentioned your words are. So do not stop at avoiding mistakes. Go further. You need the kind of message that flips the frame completely. A message that makes her feel like you are the prize, you are the one she does not want to lose. And in just a moment, I will show you exactly what that message looks like. Here's the exact message you can send, and if you use it the way I explain, you will be shocked at how quickly women respond. Hi, I rarely like anyone here, but you look like the rare type of woman I'm genuinely drawn to. Today I decided I'm deleting this account. Endless likes and chats never lead to real, warm, living connection. If you feel the same, send me your WhatsApp before I disappear. Now, let us break this down, line by line, because every single word has been chosen for a reason. When you begin with, "Hi, I rarely like anyone here," you instantly separate yourself from the masses. Every other man is handing out likes as if they are free candy, but you are saying, "I am selective. I have standards." That automatically makes a woman curious, because in her mind, if you have choice, it means you must already be valuable. Then comes the line, "But you look like the rare type of woman I'm genuinely drawn to." Notice the power here. You are not begging. You are not saying, "You're so hot," like every other man. You are pointing out that she is unusual, rare, special in a way most women are not. And every woman, no matter how confident she pretends to be, secretly wants to feel like she is one of a kind. Now the turning point? Today, I decided I'm deleting this account. This is not just words. It creates urgency. Women on dating sites are used to men hanging around forever, desperate for attention. But when you tell her you are leaving, she suddenly feels pressure. She realizes that if she does not act now, she may lose the chance. And people always value what they can lose more than what they already have. Then you add endless likes and chats never lead to real, warm, living connection. This line makes her nod in agreement because she feels exactly the same. She is tired of dead conversations, of empty small talk. By saying this, you show her you understand her frustration and you position yourself as different, as a man who wants something real, not just another boring chat. Finally, the closer. If you feel the same, send me your WhatsApp before I disappear. You are not begging. You are not saying, please give me your number. You are saying, here is the door, it is open, but only for a moment. You are confident, you are respectful, but you are also firm. And that balance is incredibly attractive. This is why this single message works like nothing else. It carries authority, intrigue, urgency, and respect, all at the same time. When you send it, you will see something most men never see. Women who normally ignore every other man will suddenly lean in, curious, engaged, and willing to take the next step with you. Every line in this message carries weight. None of it is filler. Let me break it down for you, slowly, so you see why it hits deeper than almost anything else she is used to reading. I rarely like anyone. What does this tell her? That you are selective. You are not the man who scrolls and clicks like on every single profile. You have standards. And when a man shows he has choice, that instantly shifts the power dynamic. He is not desperate. He is not begging. He is a man who chooses, and women feel that difference in their bones. Rare type of woman. This is where the intrigue begins. It is not just "you're beautiful," which she hears 100 times a day. No. You are pointing out that there is something unusual about her, something uncommon. And here is the secret. Women are addicted to feeling special. The moment she reads that line, her mind will ask, what does he see in me? Why do I feel rare to him? That little spark of curiosity is what makes her reply, deleting this account. Urgency, scarcity. She suddenly realizes this might be her only window. Tomorrow you could be gone and she will have missed her chance. Most men cling to women online, chasing them for weeks. You do the opposite. You create a deadline. And deadlines make people act. Likes and chats don't lead to connection. This is the part where she feels you understand her. Because trust me, every woman on a dating app is tired. Tired of empty likes, shallow conversations, endless back and forth with no depth. When you say this, she thinks, finally, someone who gets it. Someone who doesn't want to waste time. That alignment, that moment of shared frustration, creates instant trust. If you feel the same, now notice how this lands. You are not pushing. You are not saying, give me your number now. You are extending an invitation, calm and confident. You give her the choice, but you frame it with certainty. You invite, not beg. And that small difference is massive because women sense neediness immediately. This line shows her you respect her decision, but you are already moving forward with or without her. And that is why this message works. It is not magic. It is not a trick. It is simple psychology, built on scarcity, curiosity, trust, and confidence. Qualities most men never communicate, but the very ones women cannot resist. So, gentlemen, stop wasting time with dead openers. Copy this, send it, and watch the difference. Women don't want another boring stranger. They want a man who knows how to stand out. Subscribe right now, because here, I will keep showing you the truths most men will never hear from a woman's mouth.